So hello everybody, welcome to VirtualSpeech's August webinar, where we will be exploring generative AI for careers services. So thank you everybody for joining us today. I'm Sophie Thompson, co-founder and CEO of VirtualSpeech, an online platform that blends e-learning with AI practice exercises, which are available online and in virtual reality. As always, if you're joining us live and have any questions, please do put them in the Q&A box and I'll make sure that we ask our guest. And today's guest is Danny Mirza, who is going to talk to us about whether generative AI is our friend or if it's our foe for career services. So Danny is a tech-savvy career development professional who works in the UK higher education sector. He's currently based at Coventry University, London, as a lead consultant for the talent team. He's known for his expertise in careers, branding, marketing, and engagement through innovative technologies like generative AI and VR applications too. Danny is a careers futurist and consistently pushes the boundaries of career development with technology. He's been recognised for his work through awards such as the Employability Enhancement Award at London South Bank University, and he's been nominated for 3 awards this year, including Professional Services Staff Member of the Year at the University of Northampton. So thank you so much for joining us today, Danny. I'm really looking forward to this session, to hearing more about your latest research.
Thank you very much for having me. Such a lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Danny, and thank you for the introduction, Sophie. And hopefully I live up to the expectations and to the lovely introduction. I think let's just get down to business and start talking about the main topic here, which is AI our friend or foe? You know, you can guess by my smile, I'm on the friend side, definitely, because I use it a lot, but we will definitely cater any question from our attendees if they consider it to be a foe. I'm pretty much happy to answer those questions, any concerns that you would have, because I think 5 to 6 months ago when it first came out, a lot of people were very anti-AI and that it can take our jobs and everything. It's perfectly fine. I've seen the shift now, but if there's still people here who think so, let's discuss that. Let's solve that issue here today. Let me just quickly introduce myself a bit in terms of careers and employability. I'm not native to UK. I'm originally from Pakistan, background of international student here in the UK. Worked for 4 different universities in a very short span of time: Lancaster University, Glasgow Caledonian up in Scotland, London South Bank, Northampton, and now Coventry. So I've been moving around everywhere. So that's my background. And in terms of using AI, so it all happened in November last year when ChatGPT 3 was launched for consumer use. I was like, yeah, let's just use that, because I was like into videos, online platforms, all things digital. I was like, this is the future of career services, using technology to basically solve a lot of inefficiencies and problems that plague career services. I will definitely talk about those, but since November, have been using ChatGPT, and then we saw a boom of so many generative AI applications and tools, and you cannot even keep track of. And I know it's very overwhelming, but then again, you need to start to use them to understand the value of these things. A lot of people, I always say this, Sophie, the 2 kinds of people in this room or in this world right now: people who have not used it and they hate it because they haven't used it. And then there are people who love it because they've used it. So I think these are my views on AI right now, just especially generative AI. It's nothing too fancy. A lot of people, Sophie, come back to me and say, Danny, do you know what goes into generative AI? What are the technology? Who owns it? All the time, the data and everything. I'm like, these are valid concerns, but we use Google. Do every single person who is not from a tech background, do we know how Google operates? No, we use it from the user perspective. We are the practitioners. We use technology, right? We should not be knowing every single nitty-gritty of, how does the software is actually operating. And that's my view of it. Smartphones, do we know how they're made? We use them, right? So we trust a body. We trust these capitalistic companies to do great and not to do wrong. Exactly. We trust in these things. And like every technology, there are bodies right now working for the regulations around AI. So it will come. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's not regulated and all, we should be using it. I'm like, start using it. Even before there were rules to how to, get your car on the road, wheel was made. The wheel was made first, and then somebody would have made traffic rules, right? So regulations
So
follow.
true. It's a good point.
Regulations follow. You try experimenting with the technology, not just wait for the regulations, experiment it. And that's what I say, experiment it in its raw form before it's regulated, so that you know the value of it. Because I think only could be regulated in the best way possible when you know it in the raw form. So you know what has to be regulated and what shouldn't be regulated. So I think that's where we stand. Their bodies doing these things right now. So please trust them, and they would come up with some regulations. Till then, please start using it if you haven't used it. So that's my whole view on AI right now. And let's talk about career services. So me being from careers and employability background, having worked in universities, I saw three problems in universities, and I've worked in 4 different ones, career services. And there are three limitations that career services have in the UK and in higher education sector, I think all over the world, if you look at it, which is number one would be the limitation of responsibilities. I think the problem is our careers people, our careers team, they spend significant amount of time on what? Admin work. Who likes admin work? Does anyone in the room likes admin work? People could say we are fine with it, but I don't like admin work. And a lot of people do spend a lot of time on just admin work. Things like coming up with new PowerPoints from scratch, writing reports and all these things. Your manager says, can you do an impact report? Can you do this? Faculty reports. We write a lot of stuff which AI can really help us do very, very quickly. So the limitation of responsibility is that we could spend that time that we are spending on writing these reports and this admin work, we can spend that time with students, with our real clientele. They deserve our support rather than writing reports. And I'll give you an example of this. So when we deliver some careers interventions for a faculty or for a school in a university, we need to write faculty plans, which are 5 to 10 pages long. From scratch, we used to do it. So, and I used to hate it. I'm like, oh, manager, when a manager comes to me, Danny, can you write that? I'm like, oh, no, because I'm the biggest procrastinator there is in the world. So I was like, oh, no. And then I do it at the very last minute and I do it good, but such a headache. Now I go to the manager. I'm like, manager, how many do you need? I can give you 5 of them. What kind of do you need? What's your requirements? Before AI, I was like, please don't give me your requirements. Oh, I'll just make something. But now I'm like, give me your requirements. Yeah. I make a note of that. And now what I do is AI can help me make something very, customized and tailored to those requirements within 5-10 minutes. And I will come back to the point of, then it's just AI made. Where was your creativity, Danny? I will come back to that point later on. So I'll definitely touch that. Right. But the limitation of responsibilities, free up time, please, career services, free up some time for actual human interaction. Now I lead a team. I want my people to go down into classes, do shout outs, bring back that element, the human touch, the human spark. The whole thing that this whole notion around AI will replace us and all that. Yes, it will replace you if you are all about admin. I am open about this. I'm very honest. I promised my people, I said, I'll be very honest about these things. If you spend 95% of your time being in career services, in admin work, yes, you should be replaced because those are basic stuff. Being in careers, you need to be close to your clientele. You need to be there to understand their needs. I know a lot of roles might not be student facing, but there is an element of student facing in any role in a university, because if you just do paperwork, you need to do, is your paperwork efficient and effective enough for our clientele? I would say any department, not just career services in a university, they need to go and talk to students. Why do we have these focus groups, surveys, all these things to see what do our clientele needs? We could save time in service by just going and talking to those people and spending time with the students. AI will give you back your time so that you can spend it in that way. So that's number one limitation. If you have any question from you, Sophie, you could ask me, and anyone from the chat, just leave a question in the chat.
We do actually have a question, but I
Yes.
think you've probably answered it since they posted it. So we have an anonymous attendee who says, what is the point of AI when we need to proofread the whole thing and rephrase?
Exactly, a great point. I think this question is amazing and makes a lot of sense, that if you have to rephrase the whole thing, what's the point? And that's where the next part of my presentation goes, but I'll answer this question here. The output of AI is only as good as what you put in it. So if you think there is a need to rephrase AI and the output isn't good enough, it means the prompt wasn't good enough. Maybe did not have the right information that you could have provided it. So AI could give you very generic hallucinations as well, Sophie. We know that LLMs, large language models, hallucinate a lot. A student would say, write me a cover letter. It would invent experience that student would never have in their life. It would just invent something. But that is the problem of the user, not the system. And on the same end, when one of my students go and ask it to write a cover letter, and give it the right information, it would give you highly customized cover letter based on your life's experience in your tone. I will go there at the end of my presentation. It will copy your persona and get experience from your life and write you a cover letter at that stage to be that targeted and tailored to your needs. So if you ask it a question in the right way, it gives you very, very, very customized, tailored answers, which you might not need to edit later. More questions.
Yes, more questions. So Sarah asks, so it means we should come up with keywords, does it?
Exactly. Keywords from your life. So I always call them identifiers. I love this word, identifiers. What are the identifiers of your life? So I always say, students, describe yourself in identifiers. Don't just say, oh, I'm a bachelor student, I've done that. There you go. Identify who you are. Just the way, these terms that you introduced me in, careers futurist, these kind of things. AI loves these terms. So if you know how to describe yourself in these keywords, submit these keywords to the AI system, whichever you're using. We'll go through a few of them. Then it will give you a very targeted answer. So yes, we could be a very good, who was it? Sarah? Thank you for that. Our minds could be the keyword generator. That's our creativity. There you go, Sarah. Thank you for that. More questions?
More questions, yes. So Megan has asked, are there considerations we need to keep in mind when utilizing AI applications in our work to protect client information?
Yeah, so obviously GDPR and data protection, all of those things need to be catered for. For example, if you're using it for a client-oriented work where you should not be sending their data to a third party, so I would definitely suggest you to anonymize the data and see that the details could be, the personal details could be anonymized. That's one way to do this. ChatGPT in particular has an option to stop it to collect the data. So I'll show you that option later on, where you could stop it to save the data for their training. So it doesn't take the data it doesn't make it part of the training set. And then just so you know, MS Copilot is coming. So I think every single person in the room would use some sort of Microsoft 365 application. So MS Copilot is about to launch, and that is embedded within. That is basically, imagine ChatGPT embedded in every single MS 365 app, whether it's Teams, whether it's MS Word, Excel. There would be a chatbot on the side with an LLM, large language model, attached to it. So I think then that would solve all the GDPR issues, data protection issues, because you're already using those MS 365 apps, which are already very secure. More questions?
Yes. So Mari asks, well, first of all, they say that they're loving this. What tools did you use to incorporate your manager's requirements?
Our tools, well, basically, they're not letting me do the presentation.
Maybe we could come back to the questions at the end, because the presentation might answer some of those.
Answer some of the questions. I'll definitely come back to the question. But thank you for the question. I used a lot of different LLMs. I used ChatGPT, Claude, Bard. There's so many of them. I'll show you a few. Let me coming back to my point. So limitation of responsibilities is done. Another problem with career services is limitation of skill. I'm a strong supporter. What's the point of having a career service and all you do is, for example, the university has 14,000 students, 20,000 students, and at the end of the year, you make your impact report and you say, we only reached 4,000 of them. I'm like, I'm like, those 4,000 students are the ones who wanted to engage with you. Where are the rest of the 60-80% of the students who never came to you? They would have careers and employability needs, right? They would have some sort of support needs. There you go. So limitation of scale is another problem. Even the most dedicated careers consultant, and I'm one of them, cannot give one-to-one personalized, tailored solution to every single student in the university, right? But I would want to do that. AI can help you do that. And I know a lot of proprietary work that is happening in the industry right now. A lot of these learning management systems out there are incorporating LLM chatbots for that particular reason. So that one-to-one appointments should become something special. Some of the one-to-one appointments are just basic information: how to write a UK-based CV, how to write this, how to write that. AI can help you with those, and then leave the one-to-one appointments for actual career guidance stuff to take it to the next level, exploration discussions, next level discussions, those things. So limitation of scale. And one of the last limitation, specialization. 14,000 students and many universities would only have 4 careers people, right? And they would have degrees in politics, maybe one would have a careers background, somebody would be from a business school, and they are providing careers guidance to everyone. I'll give you an example. I have a business background, Sophie. So I've done 3 masters, love to study. That's why I'm in higher education. So all 3 masters are business oriented. So business school, MSc, MA, MBA, business. Recently, last year, I did an appointment, a workshop for midwifery students. So my career, and this is very basic stuff, and every career service is doing that. I know a lot of rich career services might have a lot of dedicated resource and careers consultant, but that's not everywhere. Even then, you cannot have specialism in everything. There would be something that you might not know. So we lack specialist level mastery across all the fields. I did not know anything about midwifery. So I have to come up with a workshop for midwifery students. I could go in and wing it, which I can do really well. But what's the point? I'm not being very, I would say, honest to students then. They deserve better. AI within. And now I did the same workshop for them 4 months ago. It was proper, I would say, tailored and customized to midwifery needs. AI within 5 to 10 minutes gave me the information, which would have taken me 3 hours at least to go to Google and find all the links and find the best links on Google and select the best links, open them up, how admin heavy this work is, open up the links and find the best things to share with my students and then put it into a presentation. AI helps me with all those things. So I will show you the examples now. So these are some of the 3 things, which is limitation of responsibilities. We do so much admin work, limitation of scale. We cannot serve everyone, and limitation of specialization. We cannot be master of everything. We could be jack of all trades, master of some. I've changed it a bit, master of some, not none. But again, we are jack of many things. AI can help you with that. So this is my view on the problems career services had since using AI. Now I'll share my presentation and stuff and how I've been using AI for the last 5 months, and then we'll come back to the questions. Sorry if I'm speaking a bit fast, I'm really excited and passionate about this area.
Yes, and I think lots of people watching are as well, which is why we've had so many questions already.
Exactly. So thank you for that. Let me just share my screen. Hopefully no issues with that. Just bear with me. Yep. I should use Zoom more often. So that I know. Lovely. Share sound. Yes. Share. Lovely. Hopefully everyone can see my browser. Yep.
Yeah.
Lovely. And a few tabs. In addition to that, lovely. Let me just go into the presentation mode. Still can see it, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's full screen now.
Lovely, full on screen like a cinema. Lovely. So this is one of the presentations I did for ACAS. So ACAS as a body, hopefully a lot of people would know in the UK, which regulates, which oversees careers and employability in the UK for higher education. So this is something I did there, part of a research group. Just so you know, every single picture in this session is made by AI. So this picture that you see right now did not exist before I asked AI to make it. And this one is made in Bing AI, just so you know. So I'll keep on touching all the tools here and there. So Bing AI for free. Let's talk about this. That's me, my version, my AI generated picture. I look nice there. I wish I had hair like that. My hair are like that, but not that perfect. So I won't go down into this. I think everyone who is here would know and understand a bit about generative AI. I'm not a master of generative AI either, and we don't have to be. We are the practitioners. Remember, we are the users. And but still, I have a few guests here. I'll just play one of the videos. So I have Bella here who would talk about generative AI. So over to you, Bella.
Hi, Danny, and hello to everyone here today. Why not, Danny? I love talking about generative AI. Generative AI is a type of AI system that can create new content, such as text, images, videos, or audio, by learning from existing data. Even I am an AI-generated avatar, and I am not that confident in public speaking, but I tried my best to come and meet you all today.
Thank you. And I think Bella, you did a great job. Public speaking, you did amazing job with it. I know public speaking is not everyone's cup of tea, but you did great. But there you go. That's another example. I did not want you to know what generative AI is. This is basic stuff. But what I showed was an example of a generative AI generated avatar. There you go. Use these in your classrooms, career service workshops, and engagement goes through the roof. Everyone loves it. They laugh at it. They find it fun, engaging. And there's so much you could do. Technology is available there to get your face into something like that.
And
there is
what tool did you use for Bella?
For this one. So that is DID AI. Yeah, it's embedded within Canva as well. If you use Canva, it's embedded within Canva as well. DID, it's called DID. You get a free, you get around, it's in 30 free tokens, and you could generate around 10, 15 videos out of it. If you want to make a business case to wherever you work, you say, oh, I did that, make a business case and get a proper subscription for it. But I'm not selling it, but I'm saying, yes, there you go, DID. That's one of the tools. And I'll try to send you these slides, Sophie, later so that all the people who registered can see this. Can I?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Lovely. And on the side, if you see, there's a ChatGPT guide for non-technical people. So if you're still not convinced that we should not know what's going on in ChatGPT, open that link up. It has 18 pages. So read them. You know, if you would have given me this guide, I would have made ChatGPT summarize this document for me. I wouldn't have read this. But there you go. The resource is there. So that's the generative AI piece of it. You know, already know this. Launched in November 2022. GPT 3.5 came out in February this year. ChatGPT Plus, Bing AI, and now plugins are here. Browsing Access, MS Copilot, and now we know so many of them out there. Like we are overwhelmed.
It's moving so quick.
Moving so quick, but it's like experiment with everything. So you know now, because of me, you know DID. You could use it for making that. There are a few others as well. You could use HeyGen, Synthesia. HeyGen and Synthesia. I'll repeat it again. So these are some of the ones where you could make those AI avatars. You get a few free credits as well there. So, and now let's just talk about, I won't do this. So we already done this. Lovely. So the ones I use a lot are, two of them are on the screen and the third one is not. I use ChatGPT a lot. Then I use Bing AI, which is part of the Edge browser. Hopefully everyone knows about Bing AI, and it's basically Bing chat in your Edge browser. Whenever you search something in the search bar, the next tab would be chat. So just so you know, there is that available. A third one that I use a lot is Claude. So Claude 2. It's very nice. I love the color contrast on this, but I know it's very, very nice as well. It allows you to upload files for free as well. So it's really good. So ChatGPT 3.5 is free. Okay, which is amazing. But if you want to use the best LLM out there, that's ChatGPT 4. For that, you need to pay. So if you want to use GPT 4, the best LLM out there for free, go to Bing. Bing and Claude. Both of them had GPT 4 for free. So you don't have to pay for the plus version of ChatGPT, just so you know.
Oh, that's a good little nugget of information.
Yep. And I won't go down into showing the platform right now. I'll use it later on. Normally I do. So this is very, very important. Very, very important, because I know whoever is in this room already would have played with LLMs, but again, by now you should know that you should not use your Googling lingo with ChatGPT and all the LLMs. It's not what is this, what is that kind of a question. You need to write proper big long prompts and give it a big context as to who you really are. So I've made this strategy. I'll give you these slides so that you could watch it later. The clear strategy is this. You need to provide a context, limit it to a question, elaborate what you're asking it, give it some assumption so it doesn't give you everything, and then redirect. I'll give you a live example here. For example, you are making a new workshop, Sophie. You want to do a workshop, or any careers person here is doing a workshop in a university and around job interviews. This is how you write a prompt. Again, this is very basic, but this is what it wants. The LLM should need to give you a good answer. So you tell it the context, who you are, who it needs to act like. I am a higher education careers advisor. I'm responsible for blah, 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 and I want to make workshop for job interviews. Limit. Outline a workshop plan that covers essential aspects of job interview preparation. Elaborate. This is where somebody asked, where do we come in, right? This is where you give it your creativity. So before you were, making workshops from scratch and took you 4 or 5 hours to come up with something, now what you could do is write these prompts, and in the elaborate part, you would say, I would normally want to cover things like researching the company, anticipating common interview questions. So whatever was in your mind around this, your creativity, you feed it to the LLM. This is what would make the output yours. So that it's not just random. It's not just you that you're not creative enough. This is what makes it you who is presenting this output to your clients. So this is where you would elaborate and say, I would do that, I would do this, I would do that. There you go. If you're an ideation person, you have ideas, this is where you feed it in. Then assumption. You tell it the workshop will last 90 minutes, in person, online, all these things from various disciplines. Redirect if you want something else. For example, make me a worksheet as well for this workshop. Let's do a live demo right now. I think people would like it. So what should I do? Stop sharing, and then let's go to ChatGPT. I'll use ChatGPT, the free version, so that it's inclusive. Everyone who have access to GPT 3.5. And I've lost Zoom. Oh, it's here.
We're still here.
Yep, I'm still here. I'll share my screen, share my word. Lovely. Lovely. I think you guys can see this. Let's do this together. So let's do this together. So I am a careers consultant at a higher education institution in the UK. It will correct that. In the UK, I am a award-winning careers person, and I am in full support of AI in careers. So that's my context. I'm giving the context. And things like, I would say now I'm about to give it the limit, the question. I am talks to come up with a workshop on. So you tell me, Sophie, or maybe somebody from the audience, which topic should we make the workshop on? Please, please. Somebody put in the Q&As, what would you like the workshop to be on? So first come, first serve.
No. Poster design.
Poster design.
Okay.
Never got that before. So a workshop on poster design. Can we be a bit more specific? I love specificity. So poster design for, I think, I'll imagine, because I don't know. It will just increase the questions there, right? So because the chat is disabled, I'll experiment. So poster design for university students from the degree of graphic designing, for example. Yeah, let's do that. Graphic designing. So kindly provide me an outline. I love this. An outline for the workshop.
I love how polite you are as well. Kindly
yes, you have to be, it has, ChatGPT doesn't have a personality. Bing AI does. Oh, Bing AI, if you ask it a lot of questions after a few questions, like, I'm not going to answer. It does that. Yeah, literally, there's personality. But ChatGPT is very nice. It's like, it does everything. So elaborate. Now we do the elaborate part. So in addition to what you you would cover in the workshop. I would now, my creativity. I don't know much about poster design, but I do. I use Canva. I would add things like how to come up with a rough sketch. I'm just doing random stuff. Rough sketch. How to use online tools for poster design. How to storyboard a poster. I'm just doing random stuff, and storyboard a poster and etc. So that's my elaboration because I didn't know much about poster design. So that's that. And then now for assumption, this will be, what do you want, Sophie? An online workshop or in person?
Let's go in person. Let's mix it up.
Yeah, this will be an in-person workshop for how many minutes? 2 hours, 1 hour?
90 minutes.
For 90 minutes, turn on light, turn on. 90 minutes, the light turned off. This will be an in-person workshop for 90 minutes. Students will be from, I would say, background of graphic, of I would say arts and graphic design. I'm just limited to my knowledge again. This is what I'm talking about, Sophie. See, limitation of specialization.
Yeah.
A live example. Like, I might help students from arts, but there you go. I'm short on words. That's where AI comes in. So life example. I'm me being the guinea pig for this. So in person, now give you the redirection. So can you please also add a worksheet that I can use as an activity in the workshop itself. That's that. And give me time division as well. Let's just do this now. So yeah, a lot of typos there. It might come back and say, Danny, you need to work on it. Oh, look at that. That's 3.5 for you. It goes very quickly. And there you go, workshop activity, and activity is also made. So within a few seconds, mastering poster design for graphic design students, presenting to you. 90 minutes, introduction for 5 minutes, welcome, brief introduction, blah, 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 blah. The first 10 minutes, understanding the essentials of poster design. Look at that. Yeah, these are the words I was missing. Typography, imagery, color, layout, show example of successful posters, storyboarding, conceptualization. It took something from me as well. Typography and layout, color theory. I've heard these words before. Visual composition using online tools. There you go. Now you're like, this is amazing. I want more information. Just do that. You would say, that heading that you provided around using online tools, can you please go in more detail around that? There you go. It will give you more detail. It would even give you a script if you are that lazy. And I would say that smart worker, I would say, not lazy. Lazy would be an old word, would be an anti-AI word. If you're a smart worker, you would go down to the length of saying, can you please write me a 45-minute script as to what do I have to say on each and every single slide? It would do that. And if you're like, the script it gave you was very generic, very simple, just give it a sample of your writing. What's your writing? Or just write one sample of one slide that you would say. For example, I present in a very comic way, Sophie. So, and I'm very haphazard in the way I present. So I will, for the script to be this haphazard, I will give them a sample. I will say, this is how I talk. And then all the script will be following my persona. Yeah, it worked out. AI loved me. See, the lights here have AI. I mean, motion sensor, not AI. But there you go. So there you go. Within a few seconds, it gave you the whole workshop. Within a few seconds, I'll take a few questions now. Let's see if it's relating to this or what's happening. And then I'll go into something else.
Right. So yeah, already with that example, you can see how much time you can save. So Jasmine asks, how can we integrate the AI at the formations on companies?
On formation of companies?
I'm not sure I understand that.
Like any registering, you mean registering your company with the regulatory body? Is that what you mean? Writing your articles of association? Is that what you want to do?
Jasmine, could you come back to us and give us a more specific?
If that's the question, it can help you write the articles of association and all your different clauses you want to add. Yeah, all the legal work. So, I registered a few companies back in my time. And I think at times you need to add those clauses in to save yourself and blah, blah. I was like, how do I get all the legal language sorted out? So it could help you write those clauses as well. So yeah. Any other question till Jasmine gets back to us? So.
Yes. So Anne Wilson, I think this was in reply to the last batch of questions we wrote. They've said, so presumably the more self-aware a student is, the better the quality of the documents produced. I think that's referring to the keywords when you can add those in.
Exactly. Hi, Anne. Hello. And yeah, amazing comment. Exactly. So that's where the biggest piece of work is, basically educating our students to use it in the best way possible. And before that, you need to adapt it and adopt it. Because if you are not adopting it, how would you get the knowledge and skill to train the students to use it in a better way? So these are two pieces of work that the career services need to work on, whereas everyone needs to adopt it. Okay. You start using it, and then you make the students learn how to use it better, which eventually will help you save time, freeing up your time from those basic one-to-one appointments and would empower students. I'll share some research now. I'll take one more question and then I'll go into my research, some figures.
Yeah. So we have one more question, but also just quickly, Mari says, thank you for this amazing demo. And then Chris has said, what are the best ways to begin implementing this tech? What's a good jumping off point for career services?
So I would definitely say it's so weird. Usually we would say it should be a bottom-up approach for most of the things. With AI, I think it has to be a top-bottom approach. I know it's not in fashion, top-bottom approach. Sounds very, autocratic, but this is how it has to be. The people at the top, you need to, first of all, get yourself acquainted. Your heads, your senior leadership needs to get acquainted with this technology and come up with an AI strategic policy. Like how would we implement that? Just so you know, I can help you with that. So I'm starting to do just writing up a workshop for senior leadership in career services as to how they can implement this. But I think the best way forward is to basically come up with a policy document. So how would we implement these technologies and then find solutions? So for example, right now, the solution available is ChatGPT Enterprise. They have just launched that. So you could, obviously it would require money, but before you go down the money route, get your careers people to experiment with it. So workshops, I can help you with workshops as well. There are other trainers there as well. Use us to get yourself up to speed with as to how to use this. Hopefully this session would have helped you as well. Start experimenting. So the phase of experimenting, every single career path should experiment with it. Then do a small pilot with your students. See what are their needs. And are they really enjoying this? So start both of these things together, experiment with your careers team and then do a small pilot with and then make a business case. Because at the end of the day, like any technology, you would need to buy the best version, simple as that, for data protection reasons and security reasons as well. You can use all the open source stuff, but you cannot use it for official work. So open source work cannot handle your confidential data. So do pilots, experiment with it first, make a business case. Our leadership love business cases, like, Danny, if you take a proposal to somebody, right, and you have never used it before and say, yeah, this technology has a lot of potential, you will never get the money. So I would always say, experiment with it, use the free version, the trial versions, and come up with some sort of result and say, there you go, it works. Let's do it on a bigger scale. So that's the way forward. But I think get in touch with me. We can do something along those lines as well.
Perfect. We'll thank you.
Questions later. Let me just share my research now. Where are we? I lose track of my slides. And share my screens. Loving it. I wish this was a 2-hour session, Sophie. So
you can come back and do a part 2 if you want at some point.
So I'll keep it to this for now. The big version here. Lovely. Some of the quick tips here around prompting, if you want to see that, which is that mega prompts. So when I asked you to use the clear strategy, that's writing one big prompt. That's the best way forward to do this. And you could do chain prompting. have a conversation. Remember one thing, LLMs, large language models, chat with it like a real person and keep on asking questions. It would only get the output better. Simple as that. That's called chain prompting. You keep on asking like a chain of questions. Tones, use tones. Again, I would say a very simple thing. If you think it's generating very generic stuff, submit samples of your writing, please. Everyone would have written some sort of stuff in their life, right? Submit that. Students submit their CVs, their way of writing stuff, their essays. They could submit anything. And when I say essays, I don't mean write the essays here. What I mean is the way they write, their tone of writing stuff. Submit those things and just ask it one question. Can you please extract this person's writing persona for further future use? It will generate one paragraph of your writing persona. Add that paragraph to every prompt. Simple as that. And just so you know, nowadays, custom instructions are here. It would take a lot of time, Sophie, if I talk about that, so I won't. Maybe a part 2 or something, but get in touch with me for those things as well. Custom instructions, basically, Sophie, means that you could add custom instructions in ChatGPT, and in the future, whenever it would generate an output, it would have that context. So you do not have to write the context every single time. That could include your writing persona as well. And yes, please encourage it. Things like, oh, you are a great LLM, you are an award-winning careers, make it feel better. It would give you amazing answers. And ask it to check its own work. I've seen this to work really, really well.
Oh,
very few people do it. And I'm surprised by the answers. You'll be like, you've given me this workshop. Do you think you've missed anything that you would have covered if you would have more time? It would have given you more answers. And maybe then you can pick and choose. You're like, maybe swap this topic with this one. Why didn't you put this there? There you go. And it would remember that in the same thread. So these are some tips around prompting as well. So careers use staff use case. This is what I've used it for. The numbers have gone up since I've made this presentation. Now the number is around 300 plus students that I've used LLMs with in one-to-one appointments and through workshops, live workshops in the classrooms, as well as online workshops. I've got around 70 plus student feedback responses, and that feedback is very important as to where we are heading. Now it's around 8 months of pilot work that I've done. I've recently changed jobs, hence why I could not update this. So really sorry if I'm presenting all slides, really sorry. Not very tech savvy of me. So how do I use it? I've used it everywhere. One-to-one appointments, careers workshops, careers strategy documents. If there are some leaders here, we do a lot of strategy documents, career events, how to plan budgets, how to make a planner, and all those things. I've used it in all those things. Quickly going through the examples, CV and cover letter help. These are 1,000 videos about these things online. Interview preparation, LinkedIn optimization, action plans. I will show you something novel that I've done with this, and the way I operate using ChatGPT is very, very important. Later on, I've made career games, Sophie. I'll show you an example. And the reason I'm going through these slides because I'll go to ChatGPT, then don't have to come back. So career games, workshop plans, we just did that, right? Workshop plan, the whole thing. I've done faculty plans. I love this one, authentic assessment maker. Especially in the world of AI, the essays are about to go away. Hopefully they go away for the good. Writing those essays, she's have become an essay mill, if you ask me. So I think we need to make it more practical, more real world experience-based assessments. So for an academic, or for you, I think a lot of careers people work with academics for in-class curriculum stuff. So if you like academic, you have this assessment, which is an essay. Can I take the topic and the crux of this essay and turn it into an authentic assessment? So people who do not know, authentic assessment basically means having a practical element of it, bring in an employer, or have an action-oriented assessment rather than just writing an essay.
Yeah, more of an active assessment.
Yeah. So I've done that. And grant application, just so you know, Sophie, I was talking to you about the RSA grant, right, before. So the RSA grant application, I did a grant application completely written by ChatGPT. Yes. The grant application was 1,500 words. I put in 350 words. So that's my creativity. If you come back and say, Danny, oh, you cheater, I'm like, no, 350 words of my creativity. So basically, whatever I wanted to do with my grant, with that grant, and whatever my answers were to those questions, those were 350 words. Now, all I had to do was fill the space. So, in today's world, if you look at some of these forms, these things are lengthy as anything, right?
Yeah.
So if you have to do that, it's fine. But now AI can help you do that. I wrote the grant, I got the grant.
Yeah, I was going to say, just for everybody watching, Danny was successful with
the grant.
well.
So maybe more than 100 people, they might just take the grant back now if they see this webinar. But more than 100 people applied for it. Only 8 people got it. There you go. There you go. But the output was highly customized to my ideas because 350 words of prompting. But this is how you use LLMs.
Yeah.
And this is the skill I want careers people to have and our students to have. If you're along the lines of, oh, how would we develop critical thinking in our students and all that, essays are very important. Develop critical thinking to help them choose the right words. And this is critical thinking. So what is critical thinking? You read an 18-page article, right? An academic article, and then you should know how to critically analyze it and come up with the crux of it. Isn't that what we teach students, right? Exactly the skill you need for prompting. So you still teach them that skill and help them use it for this purpose. There you go. Make the link there. Critical thinking into AI. And then many careers handbooks. Every university would have their own branded careers handbook. There you go. It can help you make that. Now, before wasting more time, am I wasting time? No, we're taking more time. Let's go to ChatGPT. So what I've done is, you could write the whole prompt, 350 words, but there's a solution to it. For your students' benefit or for your own staff's benefit, what I have done is I have made hubs. By hubs, I mean, I have written mega prompts, huge prompts, which you don't have to do anything in. If you click a link, it would automatically open up in ChatGPT and it would ask you a question rather than you asking it a question. And I've done it for free. It's available in 3.5. I'll show you. So let's share my world again, my screen. And where we are. Yep. So we are here. Lovely. So I'll show you that. So let's go for example, let's do the careers game one. I love this one. So copy hyperlink. I'm very basic with my technology. Paste and go. Lovely. So if you use this hub in the classroom, I'm doing a workshop on RISEC. If there are some qualified careers people here, I'm not a qualified one, sad, but you use RISEC. These are career choice theories. Like, use RISEC to give student a choice on career choice and how they can select a career based on their personality and blah, 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 blah. Amazing. Let's make it fun. I did a RISEC session. I made a mega hub. By hub, I mean, look at this prompt. This whole thing. I'm just scrolling down. This is a mega prompt. You could spend time in doing this. And the output is amazing because then what happens? A student scans the QR code on the screen. It would automatically take them to ChatGPT and it would ask them the first question, which is, welcome to the zombie apocalypse survival game. Are you ready to play and test your skills? Now, what I've done is very cleverly, and you could do a billion things like that. Let's continue this conversation. And they click continue the conversation. And I would say, yes, I'm so excited. And ChatGPT would automatically ask him the question because I've made the hub. It would say, your team finds an abandoned car. It's potentially a faster mode of transportation. It needs some repair work. Here are your options. They just select one of these 6 options. And scenarios after scenarios, let's do something. So I select 1. And okay, in the second scenario, I'll select 2. It will just give me a jumbled up RISEC result, but let's select 1 again. Just so you know, it shifts the numbers as well. So it's not that number 1 relates to the same personality all the time. Okay. Number 3, again, I've prompted the way. So it would have done the same thing, but I've prompted it to keep on shifting. So.
And this saves you so much time and is so much more interactive. For students as well.
They're fun. And then they reply back in the class, I did that. There you go. based on very basic game. It gave me, Danny, your personality, dominant personality rising type is investigative. This suggests that you are generally analytical, curious, blah, 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 blah. My second most prevalent type is realistic. Then it gives you all the different occupations they could go into, scientists and all of those things. Now imagine this thread remains with your student. They can go back home and play with this thread more, restart the game, or ask ChatGPT, okay, can you please tell me more about the realistic type? The conversation flows. People would have booked appointments for this and say, Danny, my type is realistic. What can I do? We could do that, but save the careers person's time in doing something, doing the actual workshop rather than spending time in these kind of things. One-to-many approach, right? So I was talking about the limitation of scale. Let's do one-to-many, more workshop level stuff rather than more one-to-one appointments. You would still need one-to-one appointments with students, and the right kind of students who really need our help. The students who use ChatGPT, they can self-help themselves. They are tech savvy. So I would always say in my university, very hard to reach students are those neurodiverse students. But we barely get any time for them, Sophie, because our appointments are booked up for one-to-one appointments for CV writing. Every single person CV writing. Whereas I wish my careers people would have more time in finding those and reaching those hard to reach students. There you go. That's valuable work. AI can help you. This is a hub. Let's do another hub. So I'll send you the link for the hubs as well for all the people who have attended. They can do that. Let's use one more hub. So I have made a hub for everything. So I'll show you this thingy, a CV cover letter hub, a one-to-one action plan. A lot of people follow the CDI method of one-to-one appointments, contracting with the client's needs and all those things. You could do that here. Presentation development, faculty plan, hub, authentic assessment maker, careers handbook maker. Let's do something along the lines of maybe a CV cover letter hub. Let's do that. So copy that. Yep. And where are we? Billion tabs. So for example, if you give it to a student that they can use in their own time, amazing. So they open it up on their careers website and you can brand it. Just so you're like, oh, this is very generic. Brand it with your information. This mega prompt that I have written that you guys are looking at, give it the information your careers, I would say careers department stands by. So all the right corroborated information. So if you want to brand it, you could do that. Spend time in making these hubs. So students open this up at home, doesn't need a one-to-one appointment, might need later on, but not at the first instant. So who should I think like? Who are you? If they would say things like, I am a student of blah, 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 blah. For example, I am a student of, I'll do something very basic right now, but they could write the whole paragraph. They could write 2 paragraphs there explaining themselves. I'm a business analytics students, MSc at uni. So let's do that. Great. Let's move on. See, already talking to you. Which section of your CV would you like to rewrite? Profile section. Yep. Okay. Could you please provide me a reference point for tailoring your profile section? Yes. Copy paste the job description of the job you're applying for. Just copy paste it here and you would give it the job description, job specification. The next question would be, I'll just read the question from the top because I don't have. So there you go. Where will the CV and a cover letter be used? Give it the sector, what kind of tone you want it to have, give it everything. And do you want me to offer multiple versions of the output? Say yes to it. It would give you 5 different profile sections for your CV based on the job description. There you go. And at the very first question where it asked you who you are, that's where you feed it your information. I just wrote 1 line, but they could do, I'm a student of that. Maybe just copy paste their CV. Copy paste their CV there. There you go. A ready-made hub for people to use. There you go, Sophie.
Amazing.
Like, this is a hub that people can ready-madely scan. It's like plug and play, not plug and play, a click and play. If you're giving them links, scan and play if it's a QR code. This is the future. And one of the last things that I'll do today is to share the results of my research.
Yes,
what do students feel? I was about to forget this and people would not have forgiven me for that. So let's just do that. Share. And how do we move this away? Just bear with me. Yes, oh, I did it. So Yep, see, so I'll share the results with you now, which is very, very important. So I did it with 300 odd students, 80 odd responses, which is a lot. Student use case, you'll see the slides later on, but there you go. I've used it with 300 odd students. Net promoter score, will you recommend AI to other students? 9.7, which is out of 10. Like everyone would recommend using it. Job applications. Do you feel you can apply for job applications much quicker than before? 91% said yes. I'll share some quotes at the end as well. Appointments and workshops, one of my favorite things. Do you feel that one-to-ones and workshops are more engaging now? Yes. You're using AI. They feel that, oh, wow, this person is very up to date. They're using AI technology. So it has a fancy element to it. A feel-good factor like, wow, our careers consultant is very top-notch and very tech-savvy. Plus, they're feeling it more engagement, that you're showing them stuff, not just talking. We're playing with AI, more engaging. Career control, 89% feel they have more control over their career than before. Again, 89%. And one of my favorite figures. Do you feel more empowered and prepared for one-to-one? 91%. Because I think it's everywhere. This problem was very pervasive, that they book a one-to-one appointment. They come to an appointment with a blank mind. And it happens so many times. We have seen in my career in the UK so far. Now they come up with outputs from GPT, from Claude, to discuss those things with me, to have next level. Now I do less talking in an appointment and they do more talking. And one-to-one appointment becomes a moderated session because they have so much to talk about. Danny, I did that. This cover letter, can you review the cover letter? That's where the human element comes in. Yeah. Not a lot of students would come to me, but a lot of students will come to me and say, corroborate the information. That's where the human touch. I might give them a new way of prompting. So the careers appointments have become basically an appointment to help them to prompt better.
Yeah.
So, and then they might come to you once, coming back to you twice, thrice, and then they're on their own. And it happens really, really well, because I've seen students who come back to us 4 or 5 times, and then they take up appointments, which really appointments could go to people who really need it. So these are some of the feedback. A comment from one of the students. There you go. I have ADHD. I leave things for the last minute, hence procrastinating till the very last minute, just like me. ChatGPT has solved my problems, has given me so much comfort in my way of working. Now, lengthy forms or applications are no issue for me. I make it write cover letters in my own style. I feel so empowered. I love this one from Faja. She's very serious in this. Companies have been using AI to filter us, ATS systems, applicant tracking systems. Why can't we do the same? And same technology, so equal playing field now. And she doesn't feel bogged down with the stress of job applications now, thanks to ChatGPT is one of the solutions. And basically the future is all about these different technologies which we have here. And Teal, Bardeen, use these slides. It has links to all these websites. Use them to your advantage. Experiment with them. There's a video from there. One of my favorite slides. You know who ChatGPT really is? I think everyone in the room must have used the very first version of MS Word. Yeah. So you must know this person. Clippy. So ChatGPT, exactly. So ChatGPT is just the return of the Clippy, and that is it basically. And yeah, thug life for Clippy. And it's just that we need to, just be friends with Clippy now. And there's a message coming from 2040. Who's that guy?
Hello. I hope so you guys can hear me fine. I am Danny from the future. This workshop today is the start. This workshop today will change everything and would be the start of the new age of careers and employability. You know where I am today? I am at the International Space Station talking about careers in space with my students. So things are about to change for the best. Get ready, and you are in great hands. Thank you.
Thank you, and you're definitely in great hands. One of the last things I'll say, AI is helping you with the commodity of execution. The creativity behind us is still here. We are still there behind it. Somebody said that for every AI system, there will be an AI repair person. And another quote that I'm loving nowadays, AI won't take your job. Somebody who knows AI will. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Danny. Wow, there's so much there. So we will share the slides with everybody. But first of all, we will have a couple of final questions,
Yep,
if you're
go
all
on,
right to
please.
stay for a few more minutes,
No
Danny.
issues, no issues.
Okay. So what are some strategies for bridging the digital divide with students or clients to adopt AI?
So basically the strategies are simple as that you have to start using it with students, make it part of your one-to-one appointments. I don't see a lot of universities doing sessions on AI skills. You need to sell it like that. If you sell it to the student like a solution, like, oh, you could make your CV on ChatGPT, they might not do it. They might already do it, but they might not take it from you. Sell it in a way that you need these skills in the workplace. And that's the piece of work I'm working nowadays for Coventry here as well, which is to come up with workshops on AI skills for the future and then make it part of that. So I think bridging the gap, basically, I love this question because a lot of people would say bridging the gap, the learning curve and all those things. I'm like, every single person nowadays would have access to internet, right? They have some sort of smartphone, laptop. So opening up, if they do Googling, if they Google, they can do LLMs. Simple as that. There is not much of a learning curve there. It's all about experimenting. And I think you need to basically just start using it with your clients from day one and help and sell it in a way that they see value in it, not just a solution for the present, not just for applications for the future. That if you learn to use these things for your benefit now, you will get the know-how and which can help you get better jobs in the future because employers are already using it. See, so there you go.
Yeah, love that. Thank you. And then we have a question which asks about VR for career services too. I feel like we could do a whole other webinar on this, so we'll have to get you back for that one. But I mean, what's your experience there in terms of using other technologies for career services like virtual reality?
Obviously, yeah, I've used virtual reality and I think it's really, really beneficial for students to use these technologies. I've used virtual reality, and though I do believe virtual reality is amazing, there's still so much work. And I think VirtualSpeech, she hasn't paid me for this, but VirtualSpeech is doing great work because they have incorporated ChatGPT into VR. So I'm about to experiment with those things. So the RSA grant that I got, that is for those things. So I'll experiment ChatGPT within a virtual environment. Students really, really enjoy it. Yes, there are some, I would say, not barriers, but things to consider when you apply VR things. It's around scaling. So yes, I have definitely used virtual reality platforms, but I think a lot of virtual reality platforms like VirtualSpeech can be used on the browsers. Am I right, Sophie?
Yes, that's correct.
Yep, there you go. So I think that's the best scaling model because a lot of universities would not want to invest into thousands virtual reality headsets. So there is a lot of work that goes into a virtual reality project. But connect with me over LinkedIn. There is a project that I did on LinkedIn around virtual reality. So you'll get some answers there. But students love virtual reality as well. They're into tech. Simple as that. I think I skipped that. The reason for me to comes to careers and employability, why did I join careers and employability 6-7 years ago? I want to make careers employability fun. It has to be very highly disconnected to academic work because academic amazing gives you all the knowledge, degree and everything. We are here to change lives as careers people. We tell them the value, how to sell careers. I always make fun of myself. I have 3 masters. Those are just pieces of paper if I do not know how to sell it. So I think let's make careers and employability very fun, and making it fun through VR, through ChatGPT, AI, all these things.
Yeah, great. And just to add to that, something that we do with ChatGPT, which might be interesting for career services, is around having job interviews that are powered by ChatGPT, so then they can be very personalized to each student and each student's background. Final question, how can we ensure that AI recommendations in career services remain unbiased and inclusive? Is that where we would bring in the AI and human collaboration and complementing each other?
One answer would be that human in the loop method. You would always make sure somebody is corroborating some sort of the information, but that's where I would say the enterprise solutions comes into play for that matter. For example, you would first of all need to make yourself aware of the biases. So see what kind of biases are there. And then when you come up with these prompts and solutions, right? That's where you tell the LLM not to fall for this bias, or just ask the LLM what kind of biases do you give answers from? Do you make any fallacies? Do you make any assumptions, or do you make any other stereotypes that you're following? There you go. Ask these questions to LLMs. It has data in it. The data is only as good at what we do in the world. And the biases we hold, the biases the LLM has. So I think a human in the loop is one method, but then again, the enterprise solutions, there are ways to help it not to have a biased answer to those things, inform the LLM to think about these biases before giving the output. So there's always a solution.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Danny. We've had a couple of thank yous in the Q&A as well. Thank you, Danny. Fantastic workshop. I look forward to getting your slides. Very exciting. Thank you so much. So yes, I would definitely reiterate that. And I would also stress what you said not too long ago. AI is helping you with the commodity of execution. I love that. It's so true. So thank you so much for everyone who joined us. And thank you especially to Danny. That was super interesting. And I'll make sure people get those slides and the recording as well. If people want to contact you, where can they reach you?
Danny at LinkedIn, Danny Mirza. I think if you go back to the LinkedIn event page, that's where the link would be. So Danny Mirza. There's only one Danny Mirza. But yeah, but thank you very much, guys. Hopefully you guys are feeling AI amazing after this session. My favorite word. But thank you very much, Sophie. Thank you very much, guys. See you soon. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.